Well Studios. Joining us now, Rhonda Hayden, Development Director for Extra Table. Rhonda, thanks for coming on Middays.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us about the Tackle Hunger Initiative. This is, I think you guys created this for the holidays, if I'm not mistaken.
We did, and this is our third year for doing the Tackle Hunger Holiday campaign. But Extra Table is committed to supplying Thanksgiving meals to all of our partnering food pantries. So we put it out into the public and asked them to make a $15 donation, which will cover the cost of a turkey for the food pantries. And obviously, we're getting very good deals on our turkeys. We secured these turkeys back in January, and we are buying them by the 18 wheeler. So, we're getting them cheaper than if you, as a customer, went to the grocery store to buy these turkeys and actually give them to another individual. So, $15 for a turkey. And then if you want to add more to that donation, obviously it will go to the other items that they will be getting for their Thanksgiving meal.
Rhonda, share if you would with our audience the genesis, the idea, the history of Extra Table.
Well, Extra Table has quite a history. We've been around for 14 years now. So Robert St. John, chef in Hattiesburg, and now he has restaurants all over Mississippi. He identified a need within the food pantries in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where they actually would not have enough food to supply their clientele for an entire month. So by the end of the month, the food pantries were running very low and only had a couple of certain items left on the shelf. So Robert made a commitment to one of the local food pantries to start giving them more food on monthly basis to make sure that they didn't run out at the end of the month. And then he thought, well, if this is the case here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, what's going on at all the other food pantries throughout the state of Mississippi? So he took some time and traveled to other food pantries throughout the state, and he realized that this is actually an issue that our food pantries experience every single month. So he started the nonprofit Extra Table, and we strictly fundraise to purchase food and we deliver it directly to banks throughout Mississippi. So we're just trying to make sure that our food banks have enough supply for the demand that they have on their with their clientele.
Rhonda, how big a problem is this in Mississippi?
Growing and growing and growing. We wish that we could say the numbers of people who are actually food insecure in Mississippi are decreasing, and but we're not alone in Mississippi. This is not just something that we experience in our home state, but it is nationwide. So when the pandemic hit, we kind of braced and prepared for those all-time high numbers of people visiting the food banks when we started to see what was actually going on in the economy with the pandemic, and when people started losing their jobs and things like that, getting laid off, they were starting to go to the food banks, and these were individuals who had never been there before. They weren't a regular there. And then so we knew, okay, let's just get through this time. We increased our fundraising. We got more donations. People were very generous. And we worked really hard to keep up with, the demand at the time. And we thought, well, this is going to go down when everything normalizes. And things started to normalize, started to. And then we came upon inflation. And it has killed our food banks. To be honest with you, we thought we were at an all-time high with numbers of people going to the food banks during the pandemic. And now we're seeing with inflation every month since July, we see higher and higher numbers. So July, August, September, October, now we're in November. Every month is higher than the last month. We have a local food pantry that during the pandemic, they went from 800 to 1,300 families. And I spoke with her earlier this week when we were delivering turkeys, and they are now seeing 1,800 families a month.
Hmm. Wow. And so Extra Table does not receive any government funding. Is that correct? It's all privately
We do
funded?
not. We're a grassroots 501c3, and we do all of our own fundraising. We don't have supplementals coming in from the government, which is it's good for us. It's fine with us. We have the choice of what we want to purchase, and we make a commitment to our food pantries and those that we serve that we will only purchase healthy, shelf stable foods. So we want to make sure that we have low sugar, fruits that are going out there, low sodium products, high protein, and we really have the ability to make sure that that happens.
And that's an issue too, is it not, Rhonda, that in our state, and honestly, I think this is true across the country, in the more impoverished areas, there is in fact less access to healthy food.
That's absolutely correct. And we also find that weird balance between obesity and hunger in Mississippi. So we're the hungriest state, but not only are we the hungriest state, we're one of the top five obese states in the nation. So
Hmm.
that's kind of a hard one to reconcile. But people who live in the lower income areas don't have access to the same healthy food that we have. And a lot of times the healthier food does cost more. You will see, and I'm sure you see it every day because I know I do, when you walk into your local gas station, you'll see individuals that literally are there getting their meals for the day. They're
Yeah.
in the convenience store. They can buy a Coke and a bag of chips or, a bear claw or something like that cheaper than they can go get a healthy meal. So we see that all the time.
And that, of course, contributes to issues with health, disease, and so forth, and that further, honestly, burdens all of society.
It does. And it is, that's why at Extra Table, we make sure when we're looking at items that we're going to purchase and deliver straight to our food pantries, we're reading the nutrition labels. We know some of the things that Mississippians are, insecure in, some of the vitamins that we're low on, and things like that. And we really do. We try to buy foods that are going to combat all that.
Yeah. All right. So if someone wants to get involved, wants to make a contribution, a donation, or perhaps provide other in-kind assistance, how do they do that?
There are several ways that they can do it. I will make it as easy as possible. My favorite is Venmo. Everybody has gotten into the Venmo. It's easy to send money to Extra Table, but we are strictly at Extra Table when you go to Venmo. So you can Venmo anything, any donation. $1 is good. So don't hesitate. And then we have a website set up and it's called Tackle Hunger Together .com, so a donation can be made there. And then obviously you can always go to extratable.org and look at our website, get more information from us, sign up to be a volunteer when we have volunteer opportunities, and make donations right there at extratable.org.
If anybody has any concerns or reservations about their donation being put to good use and used as intended, how do you respond to that?
Well, fortunately, at Extra Table, we can say that every dollar that comes in as a donation for food goes directly to food. We have a separate 501c3 that's set up that is for our admin cost. So that
Okay.
covers everything from pens, pencils, internet, anything that it costs for Extra Table to exist.
Hmm.
It's paid for out of that account. And then when you make a donation to Extra Table through the avenues that I just mentioned, that is for food and it will be spent on food.
Yeah, and that's good to know. It's important because a lot of folks just have that question, and it's a reasonable question, and appreciate your response. I like the structure. I like the way you set that up, where you're segregating the operating costs from the actual work, the volunteer work, the charity work of the organization. I think that's awesome. So
Yeah, and that was
you
something that
clarified that.
Robert St. John was really adamant about when he started Extra Table.
Makes total sense. Well, Rhonda, appreciate you coming on and appreciate all that Extra Table does. This is definitely an issue, and it sounds like it's expanding just because of the inflationary pressure in our economy. So we appreciate you telling us about that, and we encourage folks to help out and donate. Thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time.
You got it. Rhonda Hayden, the development director with Extra Table, has been our guest here on Middays. We'll step aside for a break right here, coming right back in the